All right, everyone. So I'm back out here today with some ammo. The weather's finally cooperating somewhat. So I'm going to do this test real quick with these different ammos that I've got out here. And I got a couple over here. So to start with, we've got the Underwood 155 grain at 1500 feet per second. We got the Grizzly 180 grain at 1350, and this is basically loaded the same as the Buffalo Bore 180 grain hollow point. We got the 180 grain Underwood at 1350 feet or 1300 feet per second. It's a little bit slower. 200 grain Grizzly here at 1250 feet per second, and 200 grain Underwood at 1250 feet per second. I've also got, I had some Sig V-Crown Elite, I think is what that one is. And then I've got some more of the hard cast 200 grain Underwood ammo. And I think that's 200 or 1200 feet per second as well. All right, so I've got one of each loaded in here. I'm starting with the 155 grain Underwood, and then the 180 grain Grizzly, 180 grain Underwood, 200 grain Grizzly, and 200 grain Underwood. And we're going to shoot a milk carton here and just see how they react to it. So it's going to just fluctuate between each one as I go shoot each one. All right, so each of them look like they did pretty good against the milk cartons. We'll go ahead and put 4 rounds of each of them into the steel and see how they do. See if we get any failures to feed. But so far, those went pretty good. And like I said, they fluctuated between each of the different weights. I didn't do the V-Crown or the Underwood hardcast yet. I only had 5 milk cartons, so I figured I'd save it for those 5 different rounds that I had. So we'll shoot 4 of each through at the steel, see how it feeds, and then move on. All right, so in this one, we've got 4 of the 155 grain Underwood at 1500 feet per second. So let's see how it does. Uh-oh, that one didn't feed in. Let's reload it and see if it has an issue. Oh, that one fed in that time, so see how it goes here. Those all fed fine, so no issue there. So yeah, 155 grain went good. Okay, so we got 4 rounds of the 180 grain Grizzly at 1350 feet per second, if I remember right. So this is the same kind of load as what the Buffalo Bore is using. All those worked out pretty good, and yeah, they got a lot of power. Full strength 10 mil, unlike most of the other stuff out there that's super watered down. That stuff's got a little bit of kick to it, but it's completely manageable in the Kimber. Not bad at all.
What do you want in this one?
All right, so we got the 180 grain Underwood. I believe these are going at 1300 feet per second. So we'll see how it goes here. See if we have any issues. That went in the battery fine. So see how this one does. all those worked without issue. So far so good. Everything's fed through without a problem. So we're going to the 200 grains next. Okay, so now we're doing the Grizzly 200 grain. And I believe these are going at 1,250 feet per second. So we'll see how these go through. Grain, no problem. No issues with that. So far, so good. Okay, so we're doing the 200 grain underwood on this one now, and these are also doing 1,250 feet per second. No issues with those. All went through fine. Those had a little bit, it seemed like they had a little bit more kick than the Grizzlies did, but yeah, everything's gone through it fine so far. No issues. So we'll move on. All right, so we're gonna do the Sig V-Crowns, 180 grains. I wanna say these are supposed to be 1,200 feet per second if I remember right. I might be wrong on that, but they're up on Sig's website. So you can get the velocity on them. I just happen to have them, so I just figured I'd shoot 5 of these and see how they do through here. Worked no issue. Definitely a lot less kick than the other ones. So those aren't quite as potent as the other stuff. So, okay, let me see that one. All right, so we're gonna do some 180 grain, no, sorry. These are 200 grain hard cast underwoods. I believe these are 1,200 or 1,250 feet per second. I can't remember which ones, but we'll see how they do here. No issues on the hard cast. All went through fine. So far, no issues with any of the ammo that I tested. All the different hollow points worked, and the hard cast again has worked for the second time that we've shot it. So we'll move on here and see how some more does. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 rounds of each, starting off with the 155 grains, and I've got all the different rounds in here. I've got the V-Crown at the very end, as well as at the very end I've got the 2 of the underwood hard cast. So it's going to fluctuate between each one, and we'll see how it does here. Okay, all those went through just fine, no issues. So no failure to feeds, no failure to ejects. Mags have been working good. The only thing that we had was that initial release of the slide feeding in the 1 round, but I took it back out, redid it, and haven't had any issues since. So not sure why that didn't feed in that 1 round. But yeah, everything's been working good since. I think it's hard to tell. I think we're good on the optic. All right, so wrapping up what we did today with the Kimber, we shot the various different rounds from underwood and from grizzly. Those are all the most powerful 10mm rounds you can get on the market right now, that are full 10mm loads, from the 155 grain to the 180 and 200 grain. Everything else has kind of been watered down, unfortunately, in the 10 millimeter range. So yeah, these are kind of the hottest loads that are out there now, but performed well. If you want to know more about how the rounds themselves perform, there's actually a pretty cool YouTube channel called Tools and Targets, and he does ballistic testing on all the different rounds that I use today, if you want to look more into the rounds themselves. But yeah, the Kimber performed well. No issues except for that one going into battery and feeding the round in. But like I said, I took it out and it fed it fine after that. So there wasn't any issues other than just that one thing. May look into getting a different optic plate at some point down the road. I got to find out if the Dawson Precision optic plate works on this one for sure. I know that they have the one for the Kimber 2K11. I'm going to see if it works for this one and maybe look into doing that at some point down the road. But yeah, so far so good. Enjoying it. And if you want to see me do a review against this and the Sig P220 10 millimeter and the Glock 20 10 millimeter, let me know.